berries have now performed. And it is our job to transform the fresh and the fermented. This is the most important part because we're going to eat it. The fermenting berries' job is to work like an outside gut. So they've pre-digested the food for us. So now we're going to mix it in. The big thing is, that I hear, is that people get so excited when they make this food and they eat so much of it. It is medicine. Like medicine, we only need very small quantities. So now I'm going to show you how to mix it in to your diet so that you don't get the gurgler pump on and you don't have leave the room explosion time, because that's certainly not what we want here at the Gut Academy. One of the biggest concerns that I hear from you is the time factor. You watch me making this and think, I don't have that time to make it. But we all have 24 hours in a day, and what we need to do is we need to plan. So a planning day is very good, and I don't mean a full day. What I do is I do a Sunday morning, 2 hours, once a week, sometimes once a fortnight, and sometimes I don't do it at all, and that's nothing to be guilty of because you just catch up. So you'll see that what we do, we write it down. So on a Saturday night, I go around and I check my garden to see what I have that I can add to my food the next day. So I'll know what I have. I know what I have to soak, because you'll see all this, we're soaking nuts, we're soaking rice, and you think, oh my gosh, but not when you plan. So if you just make that little plan, so it's only just before you go to bed, you just pop your rice into your water, you pop your nuts into your sauerkraut, or I don't know, sauerkraut, your nuts into your kombucha or into your water kefir to soak to activate. This is how it works. So we just have to plan. So a planning day, so you just have to make just a couple of hours and jot it down what you're going to do. Put it into little columns of what needs to be done. Every guts is different and everybody will have different things that you want to eat, but plan is essential. Thank you. Adding sweet to the sour. Here we have activated walnuts. When we say activated, that just means soaked. It's a nice little word for soak. It's a bit easier than saying soak your nuts. So why do you soak your nuts? Well, it's easier on the digestion. Because Mother Nature, she puts a little phytic acid in there which helps, but it stops the bugs from eating it. But it's not too good on our digestion. So we pre-soak them. So they're soaked overnight. In your planning day, you would put up what you have to soak. So what you would be soaking would be your nuts. That sounds good, doesn't it? Soak your nuts. So in we go. They've been activated in kombucha. You can use water kefir or even milk kefir and water. If you're soaking with that, there's no need to add any salt, like you see where people activate nuts and they use salt and water. You don't use salt when you're using these good foods because you'll kill the good bacteria if you put the salt in. It's already in there, so no need, it's already been produced, the good bacteria is what I'm trying to say. So now what we're putting in there is some soaked dates, and once again those dates have been soaked in water kefir overnight. That helps draw out the sugar, and the liquid actually is really good to use like as a date syrup. And we've got some fresh beetroot and fresh grated carrot, some cacao powder, just a little bit, a little dash of coconut oil. Now the most important part is some sauerkraut. In goes the sauerkraut. Now we'll give that a good blitz. And if it is a little bit bitter for you, add a touch of sweetness like some raw local honey. And something I forgot to mention to definitely add is your fermented ginger and turmeric, and a touch of the brine, touch of the lime brine that gets added in there. That's already been added there. So now we roll them, and we're going to make you could put that in the fridge. Is a good idea to put it in so it will firm up. But for the moment we'll just go ahead just so that we can show you how to do it. So if it's very sticky, a little bowl with water is a good idea to put your little fingers into. And then we just roll those into balls and make like little bliss balls. You can dip them in any little flavourings, like in this case we're going to use fresh coconut, and that coconut has been dipped in the kvass, in the beet kvass. So there you have a sauerkraut, yummy little ball. Don't worry about all my chocolate, but that's it. So that's your little yum balls or bliss balls. That was your soaked dates that was soaked in water kefir overnight. See how they're really soft? You can use your water kefir for soaking any dried fruits because it'll take out that concentration of sugar, and you've got this lovely syrup that's left that you can use as a sweetener in things. Like you could add a little bit, that I find that does definitely not need honey to my taste buds, but you would just taste it to see. You can do this with figs. Figs, if you put a fig in there and you soak that up in your water kefir overnight and then serve it with coconut yogurt, oh, just divine. So now we're going to go on. So you would roll those, and with what mixture you would have left, we're going to make a little sauerkraut chocolate. So to that we'll add some activated buckwheat. So this is just your buckwheat kernels, and it's been soaked overnight with milk kefir and a little bit of water. If you want it to keep, you can then pop it. So by popping it, you put it into your dehydrator. But if you're going to eat them very quickly, you can freeze them, and they'll keep for quite a few months. And you can even eat them frozen. So that just gives that a little bit extra flavour. Now you could pop in some berries, some goji berries, or some blueberries, mulberries, anything like that will give it extra zing for a chocolate. You could even put in some chilli or some from your Fire Cider, the little leftover bit, just a little touch of chilli. Then we'll put that in here and we'll make like little chocolate moulds. Into your little mould it goes. It's a good idea to pop it into the freezer before you're going to serve them. And voila, we have sauerkraut chocolate. The sweet and the sour. Overnight soaked in water kefir, dried fruit, a little bit of quinoa, or you could use millet, unhulled millet, some ginger, and a little bit of lime zest. Now, that was liquid covered that whole last night and it's absorbed it all. So we're going to make a fruit cake here like no other, and so easy. And it's got some goji berries in there. You can put a little mix of whatever organic dried fruit that you like. I normally clean out all my bowls. Just put all the leftovers of the figs and the dried apricots. Some cranberries are in there. So depending on what season it is, it's what you put in. Now, you could drop an egg in there if you wanted to, or some chia gel. I don't, it's not necessary. And now I'm going to add the flour. This is my green banana flour, which is a prebiotic. Prebiotics are very important when we're eating all these probiotic foods, because prebiotics are the fuel for the probiotics. So they work like fibre, so they're very good for you, very gut loving. When you cook them, the thought is that they're not so good, but this green banana flour is very good to add to like your smoothies or to sprinkle onto food that you don't cook. But in this case we're going to cook it, so the prebiotic, we're not using it for prebiotic value. I like to use what I have. I have green bananas in my garden, so I just slice them, dry them and blitz them, and that's a beautiful flour. But you could add any flour that you like. There's no need to add any self-raising because the water kefir has bacteria and yeast, so it rises itself. And yes, we are cooking it, so we're cooking away any of the goodness. It's a little bit like making sourdough bread, I suppose, because it's just there for the fermenting fairies have performed for a reason. It's drawn out the sugar by soaking it in overnight, and it's also going to help in the baking process. So that's basically it. We just mix that up, mix that so it's very good and all mixed, and then into the cake pan and into the oven. And there you have water kefir cake. mixing sauerkraut in with your salad. Now this is very important. This here is just your classic sauerkraut. Classic sauerkraut is just the traditional sauerkraut, which is just cabbage and salt and maybe a touch of caraway. Then once the fermenting berries are finished, we transform it into a salad. I call it a perpetual salad. That'll last for about 2 weeks in your fridge with your fresh food mixed in. And what you do is you do that on your planning day, you make that, and then you top it up. Each day you add different dressing. This one has just started off with grated carrot, celery, shallots, capsicum, and a little bit of olive oil. Just mix that through, and it's so tasty. And this is what you do. You just need 1 to 2 spoonfuls of this a day. That's all you need. That's it. That's the quantity. And you can put that on top of your poached eggs or your scrambled eggs for breakfast. You can have it as a side dish for your lunch. Just a condiment. That's all it is, just a condiment size. But when mixed in like that, anyone that has this disgust issue won't have it because you won't even taste it. It's actually extremely tasty. And you can add like orange juice. You can put a little orange juice to it to change the flavour of it. You can put a little bit of honey in there. Then each day you can top it up. You can add some grated beetroot. You can just keep changing your salad for you up to your week or 2 weeks. So that is it, and it's in your sauerkraut book. It's also in the download here with the recipe for it, but that is extremely tasty. Our red sauerkraut, and that one is just your red cabbage with a juniper berry. You can put a pepper berry or a wild berry in there, but the juniper and red cabbage, that's a good one. So here we have the salad where it's mixed in with the red sauerkraut, and it's got quinoa. So that starts off like as if you're making a kale salad. So you just massage with a bit of olive oil, some kale and some spring greens, and then you can add your celery. I've got the recipe there for you, and then you can top it with some happily dancing little fresh tomatoes on the top. The sweetness of the tomatoes always counteracts any sourness there for anybody that is a bit prone to having that sour taste, but it is really tasty, that, and it has your quinoa in there too, as I said. So that's a very tasty way of using mixing in your red sauerkraut. With the sauerkraut that we made to start with in module 1, which was just your sauerkraut with your fennel and your flowers, well, you can use that like you would your traditional sauerkraut in your salad. The same with your turmeric sauerkraut. And here's the salad. This one, the recipe for this one is actually in the vinegar book because it has sauerkraut and it has quinoa in there, but it has activated tiger nuts, little tiger nut in there. That's your little activated tiger nut. You can put some little activated almonds, some fresh food. In here I've put a lot of bush food. I've got beautiful warrigal greens, and this one is the pigweed, which is very moist. And it has your little dressing on there. The dressing there comes from your infused berries, which was where we put the blueberries into the apple cider vinegar. So that's just used there as your dressing. Now everybody's guts is different. No two guts are the same. But for any healing of your gut, this is essential. This is the sauerkraut tonic. It is the introduction to fermentation. This is where everybody should start. Even if you're a novice fermenter, even if you aren't a novice fermenter and you've been fermenting, this really needs to come into your diet. It's great for children, it's great for the elderly, it's great for everyone. Now, how you use this is how you would use your salt. It is a replacement to your salt. You're going to strain that out. So once that's ready, you'll leave, well, like we said, we'd leave it up to like about 2 weeks. You can taste test it up about 5 days. It'll probably be okay for you. And strain out the liquid, and then strain out the solids, the cabbage, and then we're left with just the brine. And that's what we're actually going to use, is just the brine. So when I say you use it like your salt, you use it like your final replacement. The Gut Goddess tip is we don't put it into cooked food, because we do put it on top of cooked food, but not whilst we're actually cooking it, because we don't want to cook away all the good bacteria that the fermenting fairies have performed for us. And this is transformation stuff. Start with a teaspoon a day and work your way up till you can get to a couple of tablespoons over a couple of weeks. So go very slowly with it and just sprinkle it on top of all your food, put it into all your food. You can even put it into like a green smoothie or a green juice. But wherever you would add salt, replace it. That's your replacement for your salt. And here we have we'd say, what would we call it? Like a guacamole. So it's a guac. an avocado guac, and it has the sauerkraut brine added to it. So you can add it to basically any food, sweet, sour, bitter, whatever type of food you're eating. Even if you're eating a takeaway pizza, you can sprinkle some of that on top. Beet Kvass. Once you've strained out the solids, you're left with the gut-loving tonic. And there we have Beet Kvass. Oh, this is just beautiful. And once again, it's just like your sauerkraut saft or your sauerkraut tonic prior to, where we go very slowly with it. You can use it as a shot glass. You can water it down to start with. And if you don't like that real earthy taste, but because we've put the Daikon and the turmeric and the ginger and the lemongrass, it's certainly not earthy. It's just the taste is wonderful. Once again, you can use this as a colouring. You'll see we put it into our coconut before, and here we've put it into hummus, whatever your dictionary is. And as you know, my dictionary is Linny's dictionary. So here we have hummus, so with the Beet Kvass. And children will eat it that way, but you can use it as a colouring. You can use it in your flavourings or your icings, and where you want to have a pink colouring, you've got natural colouring with Beet Kvass. Kimchi a day keeps the doctor away. Fermented wild rice and kimchi bowl. This is the kimchi that we made, where we spread the leaf by leaf, with the paste, the rice paste, which works as the binder. Did look a little bit complicated, but the taste of doing it that way, oh, it's just, in my opinion, it's definitely the best kimchi. And I've made plenty of kimchis. But you can slice your cabbage. That one there is a kimchi that's made with a red leaf, the Japanese red leaf, and the paste was made with the fermented black bean miso. So there's plenty of kimchis, and there's plenty of recipes in the kimchi recipe book for you to explore. This one, it has the little bowl here it's combined the fresh and the fermented, and that's in your recipe download. And we've included the brined vegetables, the daikon that we did in the turmeric brine, and the carrot, the little carrot coins that we did in the fermented lime. Fermented green cheese. Remember, that just means fresh cheese, which is just your kefir that's been drained through there overnight. And fermented garlic is a perfect marriage. Fermented garlic cloves are very soft. Oh, now we've got all the cheese in there. Good shot. We're going to use them all anyway. They're so soft, you don't really need to do that, because just a little bit of pressure, they go to a nice soft paste. This paste has many uses. You can just take it by the teaspoonful, which is exceptionally good for you, because remember, that's the antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, all your antis. It's also very tasty. So we'll just mix that in. So you've got garlic green cheese. Oops. This, of course, has many possibilities. You can spread it on your sourdough toast. You can just use it as a dressing. We'll just top it with a little bit of crushed nigella. Wet garlic stuck to it. There we have garlic cheese. Our baked garden pumpkin. I wanted to share something with you from our garden. This is our very own grown pumpkin. In the middle, when we baked it, we put some Smen, which is like a fermented butter. And in the Smen, I've mixed a preserved lime pickle, which has a little bit of chilli. And I also put some of the
what we strained, from the Fire Cider, and I don't want to stick my finger in there because it's got chilli in there, but we put some of that right into the centre of the pumpkin while we baked it, and so it'll have a slight spicy taste. It'll be very beautiful, and it's also got some of my very own black olives. So it has the little fermented black olives. So it has the two old salty fruits, black olive and your preserved lemon. I wished you could taste it. I really wished you could taste all this food, but we've come to the end of module 7 and I want you to share all your food. Please share it with me. Join us at our Fermenting for Life Facebook page. And if you're not on Facebook, stay with us because we have our Gut Academy. So get the link below and stay with us because we are here to help you. We want you to succeed. We're going to rock this together. Someone will feel sorry for me.